Okay, sorry about that. Forgot my iPad. Now I'm ready.
At the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
The Wheeling Area Chamber of Commerce and McKinley Architecture and Engineering urge everyone: support our local businesses, keep dollars in our own economy, protect our community character and well-being, create more jobs at home, and the money spent here gets spent here over and over. Presented by the Wheeling Chamber of Commerce, supporting our local economy, and McKinley Architecture and Engineering. 40 years of delivering experience and innovation to the Wheeling area and beyond.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I love living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Hello, I'm Bob Beach, candidate for West Virginia Commissioner of Agriculture. Folks, are you aware within the last 4 years, West Virginia has lost 722 small farms, 50% of our dairy farms, and hemp crops are being burned in the field. Our food supply is at risk. A healthy ag community benefits us all. Once elected, my lifetime of agricultural experience will allow us to reverse the damaging effects of the past 4 years. I'm fighting for agriculture. Allow me to continue my public service as your next Commissioner of Agriculture, and let's grow West Virginia together.
Paid for by Beach for West Virginia.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week: partly cloudy skies, breezy, daytime high near 45, overnight low of 35 under mainly clear skies, clouds, limited sunshine for your Tuesday, with temperatures in the mid-50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
I'm not a Monday guy.
I'm not crazy about it either. I also don't like Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays.
Are you ready to go?
I'm warning you, I'm seriously stressed out here.
You always drink like this so early in the morning?
Isn't it a bit early in the day for the bottle, even for you?
Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
Make the radio call.
It's time to get up.
It's time to hear that pop.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
We are go for live.
Live from the Robinson Auto Group studios in the heart of the Ohio Valley, this is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Welcome to Monday. What have we got coming up for you? Well, civil disobedience in the streets of Ohio and Marshall County Saturday night. No, nothing to do with Trump and Biden and the Trump train or anything like that. People are defying the health department recommendations on trick-or-treating. We'll talk about that, and we'll have Howard Gamble from the Ohio County Health Department coming in to discuss that, as well as his thoughts on what are clearly rising COVID numbers here in the Northern Panhandle. We'll look at the week's modification to school schedules and football games. Less than a day away from Election Day, we'll have some final thoughts on the statewide races. Some armed Trump supporters grew violent over the weekend as concerns grow over voter and poll intimidation. It's a pivotal election nationwide as Americans decide whether they want 4 more years of Trump's disruptive presidency or are ready for a return to normalcy. Democrats are also eyeing a possible takeover of the U.S. Senate. A lot going on in less than 24 hours now. A little bit over than 24 hours from now. Begins around this time tomorrow morning. Our old friend Victoria Jones will check in with us from the nation's capital, and she and I will assess the state of tomorrow's election. Here's an interesting question. If you vote early and die before Election Day, does your vote count? It's becoming a bit of an issue. I'll talk about it. A Friendly City restaurant burns to the ground on Sunday. I just had my first meal from them on Saturday. Plus, election stress, yes or BS election trivia today, and remembering Sean Connery. I've got all of that coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show. That is, as I always say, from me to ye. What do you have for me? 304-214-1600, the Watchdog Radio Network text line for you to use. 304-214-1600. That is our text line. Start off with a text, Biff, yet another modification of our bet. We've had this guy trying to get me to place a bet on tomorrow's election with him all of last week, and I keep trying to find something that I could live with. His first one was that I would have to begin my show every day saying that if Trump wins, saying, I was wrong, Trump won, he is the greatest president of all time. I can't say that. I could say he's wrong. I could say I was wrong. If he wins, I could say I was wrong. I can't say he's the greatest president of all time. So we've modified and tinkered with it a little bit. This morning I get this text, final bet offer. Biden wins. He's upped his game, too. He went from $500 to $1,000. Biden wins $1,000 to your favorite liberal charity. Trump wins. You walk through Elm Grove wearing a sign that says, he's my president. $1,000 to a charity, though. I'll give some thought to that over the course of the morning this morning, and to give you my final answer. Final answer on that will come up before the end of the show today. I don't know. It would be kind of fun to put something on it. I'm perfectly willing to acknowledge I'm wrong if I'm wrong, and I think that Trump will lose. I think that Biden will win. My guess is Biden will win big. I think he will win no matter what. But it's always possible. There's always a shot that things will be different. So, but I'm willing to take a bet on that. I just got to be careful what exactly I'm willing to bet on my end of things, you know. Anyways, all right, so that's my first text of the morning this morning. You are welcome to text me at 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. Should I take that bet, or do you have any modifications? Maybe y'all have some ideas on how I could modify that bet a little bit to make it a tad more power. I don't know, walking through. First of all, I thought I was remembering the stories I told back when I went streaking back in the old days. I thought he was going to recommend that. Not doing that at 67, but no. But walking through Elm Grove with a sign that says he's my president, I don't know.
You would need a lot of Fireball to do the first one.
Yes, I would need a whole lot of Fireball. I need so much Fireball to make that walk that I couldn't walk. So that's pretty much out of it. Listen, weather-wise, windy and cold this first day of November. It is going to be up to 43 today, not all that dramatically warm, and it's only freezing outside right now. 32 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 32 at my home studios and at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Did you get your extra hour of sleep yesterday, Biffy?
Yes, I did, and I don't think the body has made the switch yet, because last night I know it said 10:36, but the body said, no, it's 11:36, so probably need another night or two to hopefully get the body adjusted.
My body hasn't adjusted. The circadian rhythms, as they say, in my system haven't adjusted yet. And it's just plain dark outside so early. And of course, yesterday was dark and cold and miserable. It was like 6:30. And I wanted to put my jammies on and go to bed. And I'm not going to do this. I fought the year. My wife said, oh, hell with that, I'm putting my jammies on. She got ready for bed, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I held out till about 10, but then I finally, did. But I'm like you, I don't think I've quite adapted yet. Just, it always takes a little while to get used to that. Only 7% of people who were recently surveyed said they like the idea of changing the clocks once in the spring, once in the fall. We've talked about it before, Biffy. I don't know why we don't just go on God's time and leave it alone.
Yeah, go on God's time and just leave it. I mean, if it works, why bother messing with it?
66% of the people surveyed say they would like to get rid of daylight savings time, which basically means this coming spring we wouldn't change the clock. We just continue on God's time. 50% of the people say they'd like to get rid of standard time and live only on daylight savings time. I guess I prefer that we live on God's time. But you know what? Just pick one. Just pick one. Let's just stick with it. Spring ahead, fall back, and then you got to try to remember, what is it? Spring ahead, fall back? No, fall, spring, fall. What time? What am I doing? Am I losing an hour? Let's just go about our lives. Yes, I love getting, during daylight savings time, a little extra light at night. But I'm an early morning person, and I get less light in the morning because of daylight savings time. So let's just stay on God's time. And more people, every year when this survey comes out, it's a survey they do every year, and every year when it comes out, more and more people are saying, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. I know, didn't it get started during World War II? Wasn't it to do with like saving energy during the war, something like that? Wasn't that why we started on daylight savings time?
I think, but I always remember it as being something that the farmers did and started. But it may have started there too. But you know what? I don't care who started it, how it came to be. Let's just not mess with it. I mean, pick a time and stay with it.
I've never understood the saving energy aspect of it either. If you're okay, so in the summertime, we don't turn our lights on as early, saves the energy, electricity. We're not turning our lights on till later, but we're turning them on earlier in the morning. I mean, we still need light the same amount of time. So whether we get it at night or in the morning, it's still, I don't know. Anyway, a little survey there I thought I would share with you now that we are officially on standard time. We are back on God's time here in the upper Ohio Valley and in almost, but not all, in almost of America. 7:17 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Well, Brother Biff called it to my attention immediately when I checked in with him this morning, Biff. I had planned on Saturday, so I was thinking ahead towards today's show. I thought, well, I'll probably start talking about Avenue Eats. It is one of our more popular restaurants here in the upper Ohio Valley, and people are always saying, oh, you got to try Avenue Eats. They got the best burgers in town. They've won some kind of, they've been on several national lists of the best burgers in West Virginia, that sort of thing. And as much a foodie as I am, I had never been to Avenue Eats. I've told the story. A couple of times my wife and I tried to go there, and it was at lunchtime, and they were busy, and we didn't have time, and so we didn't go. And then the pandemic came and all that kind of good stuff. So Saturday night, I said, look, we were out and about. I said, why don't we pick up some Avenue Eats on the way home? And, I want to give it a try. And so we did. I ordered their mushroom burger. My wife had their pub burger. Both had an order of fries, picked them up, took them home. They were tremendously polite and nice and convivial. as we placed the order. It was ready immediately when we got there. We got there a little bit early, and it was ready when we got there, about 6:30-ish or so on Saturday. Took it home, took a couple bites, and I said, oh, sweet Lord, this is as good as I've ever had. This burger's great. That's what everybody says. This is as good as, people say this burger is great. It is a great, great burger. Oh, my Lord, it was so good. Medium rare, perfectly made medium rare. It was just absolutely right the way. Oh, my, I was so excited. To the point that I said to my wife, well, we haven't been here before. Maybe tomorrow we'll have another burger here from Avenue Eats. Oops.
Yeah.
Wake up on Sunday morning, and the first thing, number one posting, I was checking my Facebook page, especially on a holiday, weekends, because I got some time. I don't have to jump right into show prep, so I wake up, and I'm kind of sitting there in bed. Let's see what's on Facebook. Avenue Eats is burning down. What the hell? And there's pictures of flames shooting through the roof of Avenue Eats, and then as the next hour or so went on, more and more people are taking pictures, and Avenue Eats on Washington Avenue basically burned to the ground. I guess the structure is still there, but the inside burned to the ground, and there's an apartment upstairs. They've got their restaurant downstairs and an apartment upstairs. Both are total losses, I guess. And so my my first burger may be my only burger from Avenue Eats. But, man, what a tragedy for those folks, Biff. What an absolute tragedy. As someone said on my Facebook page, a lot of restaurants are struggling. This is one that seems to be succeeding. And, they made it through the pandemic. I think they held off opening for dine-in for a while, even when they were allowed to. They kind of continued only doing delivery and pickup, and then they eventually opened up for dine-in. But they approached it cautiously. They made it through the pandemic, and then for this to happen, oh man, what a mess! You've been there, right, Biff?
Actually, no, I have not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to get one now.
No, but
one now.
I think I think if there is a good thing that comes out of this, and again, we say it every time. You look at how the Ohio Valley, not only in terms of people, because I know there was an apartment building or an apartment in that building as well, and the support for the people that live there, and for the restaurant itself to see other restaurants step up and everything, and just all the support and everything, and the donations, and it just shows again when something terrible and tragic happens, how the Ohio Valley pulls together and gets things done. And it's, I think, one of the many good reasons why a lot of people still choose to live here and raise families here.
There are two GoFundMes already started. You can go to the GoFundMe site and look them up. One is for the restaurant, for Avenue Eats, and a second one is for the folks who lived in the apartment upstairs. In both cases, Avenue Eats, we all assume they have insurance. I would feel pretty comfortable saying they have insurance. And the folks upstairs had renter's insurance, but it doesn't mean they're still going to have to, there's going to be a gap between their insurance and that. Plus, the folks who lived upstairs got to find a place to live now. And Avenue Eats, I'm going to assume they had insurance, but nonetheless, insurance usually doesn't cover everything that needs to be covered. In particular, maybe continuing to pay employees as they get themselves back on their feet, and so on and so forth. So there are two GoFundMe campaigns started. One is for the folks who lived in the apartment upstairs, and one is for the restaurant itself. You can find those over at GoFundMe. The easier way, actually, if you go to my Facebook page, I've got them reposted from a couple of people who put them out there. As the person who put the GoFundMe for Avenue Eats up said, Avenue Eats is more than a restaurant. It's a community hub where people gather and enjoy each other's company. It's also a place known for its generosity and community support. And now it's time for the community to get together and show our support for them. So if you want to contribute to the Avenue Eats GoFundMe campaign, or if you want to contribute to the GoFundMe and or contribute to the GoFundMe campaign for the apartment upstairs, you can do that through GoFundMe. And I think it was the folks at Later Gator. One of the first posts I saw on Facebook, posts of support, came from Later Gator, a fellow restaurateur who said, the restaurant community is close knit here in the Upper Ohio Valley. And Later Gator was suggesting, Whisk, the bakery, is a sister business to Avenue Eats, and said, if you want to help Avenue Eats a little bit, go buy some stuff at Whisk, Got a birthday party coming up, go book an order if you possibly can, or go buy gift cards or whatever, at least get some cash into their pockets. So that's a good idea too. But for me, just the irony is, it's the first time, my very first visit there, and we probably were among the very last people to eat there or from there. I think they closed at 8 o'clock on Saturday, and we were there at 6:30. Probably were still some people inside, or more people may have picked up, but we were among the final ones to pick up our final burgers from there. Yikes. And I don't know this to be a guarantee, although I had heard it before yesterday, and it was circulating certainly around yesterday, that Avenue Eats is considering moving into downtown. And I always assumed it would be an expansion. If they did that they would add a downtown. I don't know any of this. This is all, rumor, again, a little bit confirmed yesterday, I think, on Facebook, but that they were going to go into the old Metropolitan Restaurant location. My guess would have been they probably would have kept the Avenue Eats where they were and also added downtown, but I don't know that. So if that is true, they at least have another option already in the works, Biffy. But
yeah, and I think I think downtown it'd be great. Be another lunch option for people that work here, and there's a lot of businesses and people in town, and you give them another option, I'm sure it would be nice.
Yeah, and I think Avenue Eats would fit perfectly with you're right, a downtown lunch. Crowd would, I think, patronize them very well. Again, I can't tell you that's going to happen, but that's what I'd heard that before the fire, and certainly a lot of talk about it on Facebook yesterday after the fire. So anyway, my sympathy and condolences to the family who run Avenue Eats, as well as the family that lives in the apartment upstairs, and to the community. But as you said, Biffy, it is typical of the Ohio Valley. We jump in, we help each other out. And when someone is a good community citizen like Avenue Eats has been, we really want to make sure that they know that we care. So just wish I hadn't been there last customer. Jeez. I get this. Well, Monroe's been here now. That's it. We can go. No word on the cause of the fire yet. They say it began in the rear of the building. That's as much as I saw yesterday from the fire department. And they'll do an investigating to see what it was that caused it. So we'll have to wait and see. 7:27 here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Now, the other big story of the weekend, Brother Biff, was trick-or-treat night, which wasn't supposed to happen, but for many people did. What I have to chuckle at is the people who were insisting on having trick-or-treat, even though the health department and therefore the municipality said, let's not do it. These are people that many of them are people who get upset at protesters in the street. Well, what do you think you were? You were practicing civil disobedience when you decided to go out and have a trick-or-treat. We'll talk about that coming up on the Watchdog Morning Show.
Commissioner Tim McCormick brings decades of public service experience.
You have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Just like they always do, Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands continues to serve the Ohio Valley. The Lube is still open for carryout and now offering their $10 meal deal every day of the week. Get one entree and one sidecar for just $10. Pick from steak, wings, ribs, and more. Call in or order online at thelube.com and follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their latest specials and promotions.
Ohio Valley Medical Center was shut down by California-based Electo, who laid off 1,200 employees in Ohio County, while costing thousands more their access to health care. Where was Senator Ryan Weld? He was working as a lawyer for the law firm that represents Electo. Delegate Randy Schwartzmiller stood up for you. He called for an investigation into Electo. Randy Schwartzmiller will always fight for you and your health care. He's one of us.
Paid for by friends of Randy Schwartzmiller.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Partly cloudy skies, breezy, daytime high near 45. Overnight low of 35 under mainly clear skies. Clouds, limited sunshine for your Tuesday with temperatures in the mid-50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Tune in to award-winning radio host Howard Monroe in The Morning Show. Weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. only on The Watchdog.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Cold and clear outside right now with 32 degrees and even freezing at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, at my home studios, and at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Details on the forecast in only a minute or two with Zach from the Big 7 on this windy and cold day today. Certainly feeling like fall for sure today, and did for good bit of the weekend as well. Did you see any snow yesterday, Biffy? I didn't see any, but I guess a lot of people saw flakes and flurries. Did you see any?
Yeah, I didn't see any, but if you watched the Cleveland game yesterday, it was snowing in Cleveland, but didn't see any yesterday here. But I guess that's a good thing.
I a couple of Facebook friends here in the Ohio Valley posted up and down the valley, said, a little bit of flakes, a little bit of flurry in my neighborhood, but I didn't see any, at least not here where I am now. I wasn't out either. I was just kind of looking out the door, didn't go outside, but don't think I went out. Don't think we left the house at all yesterday. Teddy was here a good bit of the day, did a lot of playing. But anyways, some folks saw some snow over the weekend. Text line 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. I've had this text line proposed to bet for much of last week. We have a Trumpy who says that Trump's going to win, and he wants to place a bet, and he's going to put money on it. He wants to put money up for a liberal charity if I'm right and Biden wins. But he wants me to do something in return if Trump wins. And usually it begins with me saying that I was wrong, Trump won. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to say that, I think Trump could win, but my basic premise is I don't think he will. So I'm willing, if Trump wins, I'm willing to somehow anyway say, yep, Trump won, I was wrong. No question about that. Then he wanted me to say, and then he wanted me to go on to say every day on my radio show that Trump is the greatest president of all time. I can't do that. I could say Trump won because he's the greatest con man we've ever had in the Oval Office, but I couldn't say he's the greatest president of all time. So we've been going back and forth on what to do and how to do it. His latest bet proposal this morning is that he doubled his charity bet as well. He said he would put $1,000 to my favorite liberal charity if I would agree to walk through Elm Grove with a sign saying he's my president if Trump wins. I'm not totally ruling that out. But I ask you all for some additional help on maybe other ways we could modify this bet. Off the text line, Howard, if Trump wins, you could give up gravy for a month. Well, I'm happy to do that. I could easily give up gravy I love my gravy. There's no secret about that. But I could give up gravy for a month. That's no. But I don't think this guy wants me to personally, give up something to suffer. He wants me to do something embarrassing to myself, saying that Trump is the president. And I got to figure out how far I'm willing to go. So if you have additional thoughts on how we can modify this bet on my behalf, text me 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. Now, trick-or-treat night saw civil disobedience run amok in the city of Wheeling and Moundsville and other places. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a bit. And the COVID numbers are just getting phenomenal here in Ohio and Marshall counties in particular, and in the entire state as well. We're going to talk about that with Howard Gamble from the Health Department coming up next hour, but we'll run some of those numbers down coming up in just a bit. The number we're going to run down first, though, are all the numbers that are involved in our weather forecast. And Zach will have that for us after we check some Ohio Valley headlines.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time.
Which is 50% more than the total number who voted early in the 2016 election. And with that, we are one day away from Election Day itself. With Tuesday right around the corner, it's always good to be reminded of the rules in place during elections. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose is reminding voters that they are not allowed to wear anything that promotes their favorite candidate. For additional rules, head on over to WTRF.com. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great Monday, everyone.
In Baltimore, the visiting Steelers down the Ravens 28-24. Ben Roethlisberger, not a bad afternoon. He completed 21 of 32, 182 yards, and 2 TDs. How about the Ravens? They committed 9 penalties for 110 yards. Pittsburgh remains unbeaten at 7-0, their best start since the 1978 team. Next up for the Steelers, a visit to Dallas. Sunday to face the struggling Cowboys. Dallas lost to the Eagles 23-9 on Sunday to drop to 2-6. In the AFC North, the Raiders beat the Browns in Cleveland 16-6. The Bengals upset the Titans 31-20. Pretty good afternoon for Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. 5 TDs in the win over the New York Jets. And speaking of the Jets traded linebacker Avery Williamson to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 28 years old. He will be a free agent following the 2020 campaign. Monday Night Football, Tom Brady and Tampa Bay will visit the New York Giants. The college football AP rankings are out. Clemson #1, followed by Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Georgia. How about this matchup coming up? #1 Clemson will visit number 4, Notre Dame. And over the weekend, the Pittsburgh Pirates cut ties with pitcher Chris Archer by declining his $11 million club option. He was bought out for a measly $250,000. Be safe out there. Be considerate of others. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports on AM 1600, and we are the Watchdog.
From the Watchdog Network, right now, traffic. Here's the latest from the Robinson Auto Group Traffic Center.
Traffic near the Highlands, on Washington Avenue, and on the Fort Henry Bridge is moving freely. Traffic near the Ohio Valley Mall, on 70 and 470, and on State Route 7 is all clear. The single-lane closure on Cherry Hill Road from Betty Zane Road to Short Creek Road will continue. The single-lane closures in both directions on US 40 from Fulton to Bethany Pike will continue. McCulloch Street under I-70 will continue to have single-lane closures. The Market Street overpass with reduction will continue. The single-lane closures on Route 2 under I-70 will continue. I-70 construction will continue westbound where crossovers are in effect. And all existing detours and closures will continue for the I-70 Bridges project. Follow Ohio Valley Traffic Report on Facebook, WTRF 7 News, and the Watchdog for updates.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Frio Stack & Associates Auctioneers, Realtors, Certified Appraisers specializing in antiques, business liquidations, multi-parcel land auctions. Frio Stack & Associates is a regional business offering the executor, attorney, agent, and other individuals the most comprehensive and technologically advanced auction and appraisal services available. For information on our service, call our office at 304-233-3168 or email frioauc@aol.com. Frio Stack & Associates sells the earth and everything on it.
You can now watch the Legislative Watchdogs every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. on Facebook Live. Talk radio taken to the next level. Only on the Watchdog. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free. 866-514-1600 or 304-232-TALK.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Sweet Jesus, I was a geek, Biff. I was a geek. My God. Holy mackerel.
What now?
Popped up on my Facebook memories of the morning a picture that I had posted 7 years ago. I posted it 7 years ago, but it goes back to the early 70s, could be even the late 60s. It is me in my early days as a radio disc jockey. And, oh God, was I a geek. If you're a Facebook follower of mine, you can check it out. I reposted it this morning on my Facebook page. Big hair, big glasses, short sleeve shirt, weird looking shirt. About 200 pounds thinner than I am right now. Oh my God. I look like every other radio geek of the late 60s and early 70s. Oh,
one of my favorite pictures is the one with you and Hoppy, and Hoppy's pointing at the computer, and you're sitting there all serious looking, and you just see him pointing. That's one of my favorites right there.
Oh my! This popped up this morning, so I reposted it just so y'all can have a pretty good laugh. Because man, what a geek I was! Okay, I'm not saying I'm not still a geek. I'm just saying I looked super geeky back then. This would have been my early days in broadcasting, just like we're in the early days of Zach Petty's broadcasting. Good morning, Zach.
Yeah, good morning, Howard. How are you today?
You look, when I watch you on the Big Seven, you've got your suit on. You look very sophisticated. You're a very sophisticated man. You're early in your career, but you're very sophisticated. I'm looking at this picture of me. I'm just a geek. I was just a geek when I started out. Oh my God.
Oh no, I'm sure you weren't. I mean, I'm a geek in terms of weather. I'm always geeking out and, oh, look at this dew points. Oh, we got higher pressure coming in, up. We got the cold front coming in, up. Our barometric pressure has dropped 4 millibars over the last hour. I geek out on those kind of things, so I feel you on that.
Well, there you go. The equipment is so old. Cart machines, which you probably haven't even heard of, which were old to begin with when I got there. Oh, my. Check it out, Zach. You'll get a kick out of it. And then you'll feel very good. You'll feel good about yourself. You'll say, well, when I look back on my first year in the business, I won't look like old Monroe does here. Oh, my God. I was telling the audience earlier it was 32 degrees. What I forgot to tell him was there's a wind chill factor put in, at least the last I checked, that 32 makes it feel like 24 outside. What the hell's going on, Zach?
Yeah, it definitely feels more like Old Man Winter's making a guest appearance in through the Ohio Valley. And, well, thanks to the winds, it was rather gusty and blowing a lot. Even into the early morning hours, I'm seeing wind gusts upwards of 39 yesterday evening. And then we've had sustained wind gusts upwards in the mid to upper 20s. Right now, it looks like winds are dying down. I'm not seeing much in terms of wind gusts, but still, wind chill is playing a factor. I got a wind chill value of 24. Why aren't you updating? Update. Yeah, 24 out the door right now and through the Ohio Valley. So certainly some chilliness. Grab the winter parkas and the fuzzy slippers. Definitely to stay warm.
I've been wearing a jacket for the last couple of weeks when I'm out, but it's been basically a spring or fall jacket. You know what I mean? It's not been. But I think if you're going out this morning, you may want to do more than a little little fall jacket today, at least for a while.
Honestly, you're probably right. I mean, again, we're not even going to warm up too much either. Out the door temperatures, like you just said, freezing outside, and we're only going to warm up to the low to mid 40s. But I promise you, good news is to come. Our friend High Pressure is to thank for that. I'm expecting to have that move in later on this afternoon, giving us wall-to-wall sunshine. So it might feel a little warmer thanks to the sun rays shining down. So that might be a nice pick-me-up, but still going to be rather windy and blustery. So it'll still feel all the cold. But wind should start to die down as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. And temperatures are on the quick and up, expecting to play. I've been telling Taylor, I like thinking about it, we're going to play hopscotch by 10. So we're going to go 10 degrees warmer on Tuesday and then another 10 degrees warmer on Wednesday, getting back to almost well above average temperatures by the time we head into the weekend to seeing possible 70-degree temperatures again. I mean, again, who would have thought that?
And the nice thing is, as cold as it may be here for a couple of days, no precipitation. I don't see any in the forecast, at least. Is that right?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Again, that is all thanks to our friend High Pressure associated with sinking air, giving us rather wall-to-wall sunshine and cloudless skies. So it's going to look absolutely picturesque over the next few days, and we actually will be able to see the sunrise earlier on, especially if you're an early morning riser. With us setting the clocks back in our sunrise is right around 7 o'clock for the next couple weeks. So you'll be able to capture the sunrise, especially with the cloudless skies expected over the next few days. And unlike what we saw last week with the rather gray, ominous, and overcast, well, a nice welcome sight to kick off the first full week of November.
Did you appreciate your extra hour of sleep over the weekend?
To be honest with you, I actually still woke up rather early on Sunday. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I was telling you on Friday, I don't know, just my body, I don't know, I can't sleep. I probably have to go to a doctor to get myself diagnosed with something of, oh, you just can't sleep at all. And I'm like, yeah, I can. It's probably mind racing, thinking, I don't know what's up. There's probably something wrong with that, but I didn't really sleep in too much, but it was rather easy going to bed, though. I was telling Biff I probably fell asleep right around 6 o'clock and got a full 8 hours in, so that was very nice to wake up and feeling refreshed today, but didn't really sleep in too much.
Yeah, getting back to regular time, God's time, as I like to call it, is probably good for you. You know, last night, 6 o'clock, I was ready to go to bed, and it wasn't bedtime. But it's dark outside, and it was cold too. So it's dark, it's cold. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm saying, well, I think I'll get my jammies on. Time to hit the hay. But that's probably good for you because you have to go to bed early, anyways.
Yeah, have to go to bed, especially since we're waking up at 2 o'clock, getting into the studio by 2:45, and getting all the stuff put together. Definitely need all the extra time so that way you're not looking like a zombie in front of the camera at 5 o'clock once the director says go. So that way you're not, what's going on, Ohio Valley, and you're at least somewhat competent.
Yeah, you can't afford to wake up on the air. I mean, you got to be awake by the time you get started. So.
Yep, absolutely. You know.
Although I have seen some newscasters, I'm not sure we're totally awake.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Definitely, like you hear it in the voice, like the tiredness. No, that's not me.
Yeah. Want to yell through the TV screen? Wake up! You're on TV.
Right.
Come on, entertain me. Come on, dance for me, monkey dance. I'm sorry, I don't mean it like that. Don't mean it quite like that. Anyway, a warm and dry week this week, right?
Yep, warm and dry. We're just going to be on the up and up. By today, our high temperature is 43. By the time we finish things off on Friday, we could be almost 25 degrees warmer. We're just going to be on a steady incline in terms of temperatures. So definitely going to be a good work week. Mostly sunny skies, no threat of rain. Just make the most of it for the first full week of November.
All right, Zach, appreciate it. Good talking to you this morning, and we will do it again tomorrow on a slightly warmer but still dry day tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today.
Sounds good. Have a good one, guys.
You too. Zach Petty from the Big 7, WTRF TV. Yeah, see, you know, this is his first year in the broadcasting business, Biffy, a professional broadcaster. He's been in college before, but, you know, you see him on TV, he looks sophisticated. He's got the suit on, and he just looks, he looks sophisticated. I'm looking at this picture of me in my early days. My God, gee, Christmas.
Gotta love the hair,
I guess that's why I was on radio. But you like that? bit of a hair helmet I've got there, I guess. Yeah, it was just what I'm still amazed at is where did this weight that I have now, where did it come from? I was a skinny mini back then. I mean, a little tiny itty bitty beanpole back then. Now I'm a giant tree trunk. I was a beanpole then. I'm a giant tree trunk. Anyway, you want to get a picture of old Monroe in his, they call them the salad days, the early days at the radio station up on the hill. You can check that picture out. It is on my Facebook page. 32 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 32 at my home studio here in Elm Grove, and 32 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. But that 32 with the wind feels like 24. Yeah, it's definitely November. Do I need a break, Biffy, or do we take care of business?
We took care of business.
Okay, double checking because we're coming down the home stretch in the political wire. Tomorrow's election day, and that means we've got an awful lot of political candidates trying to reach you through our fine airwaves. And I didn't know if we had any more of those to get in or not. So we'll talk about the election coming up. We'll talk about the state election coming up next hour. And in the final hour of the show, our old friend Victoria Jones will be with us from the, what'd she call her company? The DC company or something like that. Anyway, she's has a company out of Washington, D.C., works on her own now, used to work with the Talk Radio News team, but now she's on her own. And she will join us, and she and I will kick around what's likely to happen, what we think might happen. Who knows what will happen tomorrow come Election Day. It is 6 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Did you Were you? You don't get any trick or treaters, of course, at your place, Biffy. But were you at your dad's by any chance, or did you see trick or treaters at all on Saturday night?
The only thing I saw was Notre Dame taking care of business against Georgia Tech, and then a little bit of Ohio State and Penn State, and that was it. I was inside in the warmth watching football.
Makes perfect. I was inside as well. I wasn't watching football. We were inside. Well, eating Avenue Eats burgers. We did put a socially distant chair out in front of our house, clear at the end of the sidewalk, and my wife had made up little goodie bags, and we put them out for those who did come by trick or treating. But of course, on Saturday morning, as the new map came out, now this is where things get really screwed up. The schools look at the WVDE map, the Western Department of Education map, which doesn't come out until 5 o'clock on Saturday night. But for other purposes, we look at the DHHR map, which comes out every day, and which came out on Saturday morning, and it put us in bad categories. And so Ohio and Marshall counties, the health departments in both places said, we don't think you should have trick or treat. City of Wheeling, City of Moundsville concurred with that, and they canceled their trick or treating. But of course, they canceled it on Saturday morning. Trick or treat was Saturday night, and oh my God, you would have thought that we were cutting off people's toes. I mean, I tell you what, these people are taking that Halloween away from my kids, and I'm not going to do it, and we're going to stand on the streets, and we're going to have trick-or-treat, and to hell with what they say. The government can't tell me what to do. That's just all over the place. Now, little Teddy had already made plans for a party, not for trick-or-treating. He wasn't going to go trick-or-treating anyway. So it didn't impact him. He got his costume on, and his friends had their costumes on. They had a little party together at one of his friends' houses. But for many of you, I guess it was you weren't going to give up your trick or treating no matter what. And so you took to civil disobedience. And I keep pointing, it was civil disobedience. This is protest in the street. What I have to chuckle at is so many people, I think, who probably insisted we're going to have trick or treat. We're going to take our kids around. We're going to do it no matter what. You engage in the same kind of protest that I'll bet you're upset about very often when other people do it. Civil disobedience on the streets of Wheeling and in Marshall County and in Moundsville. And a lot of just a lot of anger coming back on Facebook about that. We won't let this stop us. I don't think kids should have been out. I agree with the health department. I think, look, if I'm going to believe that we have to listen to health officials on things like masks and social distancing and so on, and I say wear your mask because the experts tell us that it's the right thing to do, then I've got to concur that when they say don't go trick-or-treating, I got to accede to their beliefs as well. You look in Ohio County and in Marshall County, and we are talking about unbelievably large numbers of COVID cases. I think Marshall County over 200, well over 100 last week in Ohio County. Ohio County added 42 new COVID cases just this weekend. Marshall County, I want to say 49 just yesterday. People, serious stuff out there. However, having said that, for those who took their kids around, we put the candy dish out, and we normally get a couple hundred people on our neighborhood street. I don't know what the total number was because some people may have taken 2 bags or whatever because we made little goodie bags up. My wife made up about 150 goodie bags, put them in the bowl, and I think she said we had about 50 left. So I don't know, less than 100 people came by, less than half what we normally have. I talked to a couple of them when we first pulled up. We just got home in time from our Avenue Eats adventure to get ready for trick-or-treat night. I talked to a couple of folks who were out there, and I kind of felt sorry for them. And they were I don't want my boys to not have Halloween. And I get it. I mean, I do get it. Trick-or-treat's a big deal. But it was civil disobedience in the streets. And it looks like new numbers, the 49 I gave you in Ohio County yesterday, 42, I'm sorry, in Ohio County yesterday. I just see a Chris come across my screen. It looks like 24 new ones today, Biffy. Yikes. Howard Gamble from the Ohio County Health Department is going to join us coming up next, and we're going to talk about those cases. Going to talk about trick or treat. Going to talk about why it's such a big deal that we pay attention to these things. All of that's coming up in the next hour of the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
His presidential nominee will watch.
Well, all right then. Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot left over, obviously. I got Howard Gamble at 8:10. 8:10, right, 8:10. Victoria at 9:10. That's it for the day. And, all right, I'll be back in a minute.
Ford 7600 or visit them at www.omniperforms.com.
The original Undo's in Benwood is the perfect place to enjoy the big game, great food, and the company around you. The outdoor patio is the best kept secret in Marshall County, featuring plenty of big screen HD TVs, an outdoor beer garden, and NFL and MLB packages so you don't miss a second of the action. With the holiday season fast approaching, don't forget about Undo's Catering. Perfect for holiday parties, family gatherings, conferences, weddings, or any event large or small. Check out undos.com for menus, specials, entertainment, and more. Undo's Family Restaurants, family owned since 1953.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Bob Beach, candidate for West Virginia Commissioner of Agriculture. Folks, are you aware within the last 4 years, West Virginia has lost 722 small farms, 50% of our dairy farms, and hemp crops are being burned in the field. Our food supply is at risk. A healthy ag community benefits us all. Once elected, my lifetime of agricultural experience will allow us to reverse the damaging effects of the past 4 years. I'm fighting for agriculture. Allow me to continue my public service as your next Commissioner of Agriculture, and let's grow West Virginia together.
Paid for by Beach for West Virginia.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Partly cloudy skies, breezy, daytime high near 45. Overnight low of 35 under mainly clear skies. Clouds, limited sunshine for your Tuesday, with temperatures in the mid-50s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe and Brad Leonard behind the board in the producer's chair.
Well, it's a pivotal election nationwide as Americans decide whether they want 4 more years of Trump's disruptive presidency or are ready for a return to normalcy. Democrats are also eyeing a possible takeover of the U.S. Senate. Our old friend Victoria Jones will check in with the nation's capital. We'll talk about that and a few other national political issues. For example, if you vote early and die before Election Day, does your vote count? That's an interesting one, I thought. Came across it over the weekend. Meanwhile, over the weekend, some armed Trump supporters grew violent as concerns continue to grow over voter and poll intimidation. Civil disobedience in the streets of Wheeling and Moundsville and elsewhere on Saturday, as many defied the health department recommendations for a canceled trick-or-treat. Howard Gamble from the health department coming in just a minute here. We'll talk about that. Also get the latest numbers coming out of Ohio County in terms of COVID cases, and those COVID cases are rising. My question is why, and how concerned should we be? We'll talk to Howard about that coming up in just a little bit. We'll look at the week's modifications to school schedules and football games as the latest color-coded map came out over the weekend. A Friendly City restaurant burns to the ground on Sunday. I just had my first meal there on Saturday, first time I ever ate there or from there. And I hope there was no connection or correlation between me eating there and the place burning down. Plus, election stress, yes or BS election trivia, and we'll remember Sean Connery a bit later on this morning as well. If you are going out, bundle up. And I don't mean just put on a sweater. I'm talking about it's cold outside. Going to be windy and cold this morning. We are looking at 32 degrees right now at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, and it's a feels-like temperature with the wind chills, feels like 24 degrees. All right, so it's definitely a cold morning this morning. We're not going to get a whole lot warmer, up to around 43 before the day is over and done with. Good news is all week it's going to be sunny, and the good news is that each day of the week we rise in temperature. 43 today, 54 tomorrow, 63 on Wednesday, all the way up till we hit 72 come Sunday. So it is going to rise But for today, by all means, bundle up on your way out the door. So all of this is coming up from me to ye. If you have something you want to offer me, you know what to do. Use the text line 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. It is the Watchdog Radio Network text line. The one thing I'm asking your help on, I have a guy who's been trying to get me, I assume it's a guy, I don't even know that for sure, off the text line. I've been having a guy who the past week or so has been trying to get me to place a bet with him on Trump winning. He thinks Trump's going to win. I think Biden's going to win. So he wants to contribute to a cause of my choice if I do something embarrassing saying that Trump was a winner and I made a mistake. So if you want to offer some thoughts on how I can modify that bet, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for ways to modify a bet. All right. 8:12 in the morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Is Howard with us?
Still waiting.
Okay, we'll wait for Howard Gamble to join us. I had called it civil disobedience. My friend, Mr. McCabe, who always wants to challenge my use of language. Honestly, John, really, always wants to challenge my use of language. He says, sorry, an unelected board? How can a recommendation from an unelected board lead to civil disobedience? The recommendation, of course, came from the health department, and the cancellation of trick-or-treat came from the governments in the city of Moundsville and in the city of Wheeling, and elsewhere too, but other cities chose not to follow that recommendation, okay? But the cancellation came from governmental entities, from the city of Wheeling and the city of Moundsville, which I completely agree with. So, geez, John, you're always going to nitpick on me on these things. I'm telling you, McCabe, I don't know. I don't know how he and I stay friends these days. Sometimes he just... Anyway, Marshall County ended the week last week with 128 COVID-19 cases. Last week in Marshall County saw more than a third of the county's total cases since the whole thing began. 1/3 of all the COVID cases in Marshall County since COVID began occurred last week, 128 total cases. And my friends, that only took us to Saturday. Yesterday, Marshall County received confirmation of 49 new positive and 2 new probable cases. So what they've done, and Ohio County has as well, and I'll let Howard talk about the Ohio County ones in a minute, but they've set up in Marshall County a lot of community testing locations throughout the week this week to try to increase the number of people being tested to get the positivity rate up. But man, I'm looking at this list here. It literally fills 2 pages, so I can't do all of them, but at the Marshall County Fairgrounds, Limestone Volunteer Fire Department, Cameron City Building, McMecken Volunteer Fire Department, Sand Hill Elementary School, and these are on several different days for each of these places where there's going to be testing done in Marshall County. You can get more info by calling the Health Department in Marshall County at 845-7840, or easier to do is just go to their Facebook page, Marshall County Health Department. Find out where there are some COVID testing being done. And the governor has been really pushing that we need to have more testing done. He says it's part of the problem is that we're not getting enough testing done. And that's why things are looking so bad. And things are looking pretty bad. But there's got to be more to it than that. And again, I want to talk to Howard Gamble about that coming up in just a minute. The new COVID map came out. Again, what was weird this weekend, we actually had to pay attention to the DHHR map, because that's the map that the health department was using on Saturday morning to recommend that cities and counties cancel trick-or-treating. Even though we normally look at the Saturday evening map, the West Virginia Department of Education map, which comes out. When the Department of Education map came out, 6 school districts around the state are on all remote instruction. Some have now ended up not having able to have any football games and so on. Let's see. Well, I'm not going to go through all of these, but there's quite a few changes throughout the county. Biffy, what are we doing this weekend? Did any of this stuff affect our games this weekend? I haven't looked to see.
Actually, we did have one game affected. It was John Marshall and Wheeling Park. John Marshall, according to the
They're gold, are they not?
According to the Department of Education map, yes, they are gold. Ohio County is yellow. So
Gold can't play yellow.
Gold can't play yellow, so that canceled that game. John Marshall did find another game. They're going to play, I believe it's Washington on Saturday, I believe. We are scheduled to have Wheeling Central at Petersburg. That game is Friday night, but the problem is
Sorry,
now.
help me. Where is Petersburg? I should know. I don't know where Petersburg is.
If you know where Hardy County is, where Moorefield.
Okay, Hardy County is the answer,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's over there. It's a long trip, but unfortunately, even though, and we're going to go back to the map that you referenced, the DHHR map, West Virginia, geez, Ohio County is yellow on the Department of Education. The scary thing, the DHHR map has them as orange. So if they were to move, I believe this is how it goes. If they were to move into red, according to the DHHR map, they can't do anything.
Okay.
So Ohio County has to be careful this week if they still want football to be played.
And although for anything other than red, we look only at the Department of Education map, the DHHR map going red on a daily basis, red only, does impact schools. So if it goes to red during the middle of the week, even though it may have been something else on Saturday, that immediately brings cancellation to the. I mean, it sends things remote and cancels football, right?
Right. So we're on the verge. If not, now we got to pay attention to the DHHR map this week. So Ohio County in orange, according to that. If they move into red, I mean, there's no matter what the Department of Education map says, there's no football.
Yeah,
So
red only on red, but red, the daily map dictates if you turn red anytime during the week, boom, you're out of action there. So, geez, and you're right, we're flirting with that.
Yeah. So I mean,
wouldn't it be nice, hey, Biffy? Wouldn't it be nice if we just had one damn map to pay attention to?
Well, it would certainly make things easier instead of having to bring out our whiteboards every week and trying to figure everything out.
I mean, you and I do this, we did it, we do it multiple times a week anymore. Well, okay, this school's done this and this school's done this. We've got to do this and we're going to play this. And, gee, it would have, it may not make people's lives easier in terms of we probably still would have cancellations, but it'd be nice if we said one map. Just give us a map. This Saturday night Department of Education map, which is different than the DHHR map, but only if it's red during the week, then
And actually, this is really the first week that we've really had to pay that much more attention to the DHHR map because now we're orange.
Because we're getting close to red. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And the case numbers are rising dramatically. And again, I was hoping to have Howard. Is he on with us yet?
I think this is him calling. Let me get it real quick and I'll find out.
So, you go ahead, because I want to get some of these numbers. I mean, we're seeing significant rise in numbers in Ohio County, and I want to know, A, why and what those numbers are. Howard Gamble's going to join us from the Health Department coming up in a minute. 4 northern panhandles moved to higher advisory levels on the Department of Education map over the weekend. So 4 northern panhandle counties stepped up. Let's see, Hancock and Brooke counties are still green. This is the Department of Education map now. Keep that in mind. Ohio County from green to yellow. Marshall County moved from green to gold, as we talked about. Wetzel County moved from green to yellow. And Tyler County moved from green to gold. So we're seeing here in the Panhandle, we're moving up. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good move up. we're moving up on the color codes. And as Biff said, we could be toying with red this week, depending on how things go in Ohio County, and that would be not good.
There is one county, if you look at both by the Department of Education and the DHHR map, and that is Mingo County. That is the only red county.
But again, we'll see what happens as time goes on. Let me see. I think did I see some new numbers? Is Howard there yet?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay, let me ask Howard Gamble. I thought I saw some new numbers this morning, but I don't have them in front of me. Howard Gamble is here, the administrator of the Ohio County Health Department. Howard, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you have any new numbers today? I thought I saw new numbers come through, but maybe I'm wrong. What are the numbers? What are our current numbers in Ohio County?
Well, cumulative, we've reached up to 662 cases as of Sunday night.
Wow.
And so it took a while because of a tremendous amount of testing coming in from multiple locations here in the county. We weren't able to release numbers until this morning. So cumulative 662. That meant we saw 24 new cases Sunday into the system. The cases are sporadic all across the board, from the community, businesses, the general public. We picked up 2 at a local school. These were school-aged children. Prior to that, we had kids from Wheeling University, West Liberty, number of businesses that have cases that are also part of outbreaks. We just seem to picked up both Ohio, Marshall, and across the state. We picked up tremendously and positive cases as a result of multiple factors, but we're trending upwards.
Last week, if I remember correctly, every day was a double-digit day. Anything, 12 or more. And I think there were 13, 16, 15, now 24 today. But I think every day was a double-digit day. Total of over 100 cases just last week reported, right?
Oh, well over. And what that means is not only do you have those as new cases, but we're continuously following the ones prior that still haven't been released from their monitoring. So the volume of cases increases dramatically as a result of, we're not as cautious as we used to be.
Neighboring Marshall County had as many cases last week, 129, I think I'm doing this from memory now, had as many cases in Marshall County last week as they've had for the entire, going all the way back since March. So, I mean, we're seeing a rise. So what is it, Howard? I know you kind of alluded to it a couple times here. I mean, can we pinpoint what's happening here? We're watching some significant rises in several Panhandle counties. What's going on?
Well, it used to be that we could link this back to a travel, an event, or some circumstance where someone went somewhere, either local or domestic, and then came back and they're positive. Right now, it's extreme community spread. We have individuals that we call, and you have to remember, you have to go by memory and what they say, that report back, I had no outside activity. But then they remember, I hung out here, I went to this location, which means it's community spread. It's very easy to sit at a establishment and someone is positive within there. We don't think we're around them, but then we become positive. We do have occasional cases that are easy to link to another positive. And a lot of those are school-based cases, whether it's higher education or K through 12. It's very easy to say these 5 people are positive as a result of the one prior. But now we're seeing more community. Age groups range all the way down to the single digit, all the way up to a 100-year-old individual. Our nursing facilities, we're holding very well with cases. We're not seeing a lot of cases as a result of staff or patients, but they still have their troubles all across the Panhandle, and we saw that very evident down in Wetzel County. Yeah. But most of our cases are from the community, and it's from community spread. We're going out to a venue We're interacting with friends. We're trying to assume we can go back to normal without taking the precautions.
I mean, I'm just a layman looking in on that, but to me, that's the bottom line. We're getting too comfortable in believing that, it's all over and we can go back to normal and we can get back to our normal way of things. And in point of fact, we're really getting almost as bad as we were in the very beginning in terms of cases.
Well, we're getting back to a level either at or now trending above the July mark. We're seeing that increase going above that. We are going into colder months in which we will be indoors more. We'll be closer more. And it's very difficult to hold outdoor events. And it's also a misnomer that if I have an outdoor event, it's okay, right? No. You can spread the disease just as easy outdoors as you can indoors. Got to think about touch points, closeness, individuals who are sick or asymptomatic but infected, going around a venue or indoors, how quick it can spread because of close contact, my hand touching your hand, you then wipe your eyes and nose. So it's very interesting. Now, the good news on all of this, we're seeing mild to moderate. That's what we see when we do our intake, but I have to qualify that with we also are seeing a tremendous increase in the need for advanced health services at our hospitals. So our hospitals are become busier as individuals develop more severe symptoms.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard that the hospitals are starting to get, not concerned, but they're certainly beginning to see significant increases in their census because of this.
And that's across the country. So not only do you see cases increase, and the individuals in the community may say, well, it's going to happen, we're going to have that, but you have to think on the other side, some of these cases become severe, and severe enough that they need advanced health services at one of the facilities, and they become busy. And the virus is then, has the ability to transmit within that facility. We're nowhere near out of the woods for this virus, and we have to take it extremely serious because at any time, the type of virus that we have here, in other words, the severity of the virus can turn very quickly in that we are dealing with high rates of mortality, morbidity, where we see that in other communities.
I still see people saying things like, well, these numbers may be going up, but it's just not that big a deal. I mean, you hear that, I assume, out in the community, right?
Oh, we hear it tremendous. And a lot of people, maybe that's the way to say, if I say it enough, it'll go away. And a virus won't. An election won't change a virus. It'll still be there. It'll still find hosts and significant hosts to continue the momentum of a pandemic. The only way to stop it is, one, the mitigation practices we're doing that limits it to a degree, or vaccination, in which we vaccinated enough of the population, we reduced the disease down to a manageable level. It took many, many years to get smallpox eradicated, and many countries coming together. We could never do it with polio, measles, etc. So this won't be eradicated. You'll just be able to control it and be vaccinated for this occurring disease within the community and manage it.
The health department recommended over the weekend, and the city of Wheeling concurred and then canceled their trick-or-treating. I know that you put out a statement at some point saying, look, we don't think you should trick-or-treat, but you probably will. Some of you will, so here's how to handle it. Had to be frustrating, though, to you to see how many people were just going to ignore the health department's recommendation. And again, so my friend Mr. McCabe doesn't yell at me, it was a recommendation from the health department that led to the city of Wheeling canceling trick-or-treat. Had to be frustrating to you, though, right?
It is. I have a young one at home. So, unfortunately, he missed out. But there was others that said, listen, we can go. It's okay. I'm going to do it. I feel this way because this one event a year we must do. But we, a long time ago, agreed with or informed the cities and counties that if we do go at a higher color, we need to suspend those events. This is one where we gather. We gather and go in large groups. We go to other doors and throughout a neighborhood. Cars come in from other neighborhoods into a neighborhood and dump kids, and they trick or treat. You had the ability to pass this in the tremendous level, and so we had to respond. Unfortunately, we need to either not have this, suspend it, postpone it. It's just unfortunate, but that's where we are with cases.
Timing was a bit of an issue here, though. I mean, the truth of the matter is, Howard, you could see what was happening during the week, and I know that you have to wait, I guess, till the map turns colors and so on, but it might have been more helpful if the city had said, and maybe you had recommended early on, that we don't think the weekend's going to be a good weekend. I mean, I think what upset a lot of folks was it was Saturday morning, they were all prepared, the costumes were hanging up, ready to go, and the kids were all excited, and then suddenly, bam, the rug was pulled out from underneath them. Timing can be an issue.
It can, but it is what it is. We can't foresee. The map is controlled in Charleston as far as the cases. We knew we were trending up. We were hoping we'd stay at a certain level, but we were trending up, and I couldn't foresee to be able to make that call that, yep, we're going to be orange, yellow, or red. And as a result, plan accordingly. It's going to happen again. We're going to see events have to either cancel, postpone, or reschedule throughout this fall, winter months because of the virus. And we need to get used to it until we get the virus down to a manageable level again.
Howard, the next big event, big family event coming up is Thanksgiving. What are your thoughts on what families ought to do about Thanksgiving gatherings this year?
Well, Thanksgiving gatherings, just like we have always informed people with the influenza. One, with influenza, we encourage individuals to get vaccinated before the holiday season for Christmas, Hanukkah, and Thanksgiving. We all want to get that done. Therefore, we're not having cases because it takes 2 weeks for immunity to build up. We're not seeing cases as a result of gathering. The same kind of thing needs to be done with COVID as we go into those three big holidays. Think about the groups you're going to be going to or wanting to spend time with, and we do it safely. Whether we reduce the size of our gathering, we gather in a smarter way, we protect ourselves, or we protect the loved ones that we're going to go visit, so we don't see cases. And we don't see the need for people to run out to get a rapid test that cough now is COVID. And now I'm out of school, I'm out of work for a period of time as a result of that. So it's the same kind of thinking we do with both the flu. For the flu, we need to think here. We need to get ready and to protect those that we're going to go see or those that are going to come see us. These groups, these events, though, are smaller. I mean, they're more intimate, where Halloween was, everybody walking around a community and enjoying ourselves. These are going to be more intimate. As a result, we can see the spread at a higher rate because we're going to be closer, we're going to be sitting down, we're going to be seeing people that we haven't seen for a long time. It's going to be difficult. I haven't seen my family for a while, and I'd like to see them. And it's going to be tough because I don't want to cause a problem on an older adults, which are in the family.
We were having the discussion this weekend in the Monroe house. What are we going to do? We always have a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we were debating. I said, I don't think we can have the whole family in this year. We've got too big a family and we have too big a family and too small a house to begin with. I don't think we could even socially distant if we wanted to. We're going to have to, adapt somehow. I don't know how that is. We're going to have to adapt. Governor Justice last week said that, first of all, he said that people should defer to the health experts and let you guys offer recommendations. But the governor said that he thinks sometimes a family's Thanksgiving celebration or a big family gathering like this could be even more dangerous than going to a football game.
I agree, because we're more intimate. And we're going to be closer together with individuals. And you have families gathering. Sometimes those families are older, and those older individuals aren't going to the football games necessarily. However, sporting events are just as high risk as Christmas, Thanksgiving, et cetera. it is going to be difficult going into those holiday seasons on what to do because we want tradition to continue. But at the same time, public health doesn't want to see increase in morbidity and mortality.
I have a text question here from a listener. Curious as to what are the actual rules right now for indoor public and outdoor public gatherings?
So it really depends on the venue. If it's just I'm going to gather to hold a social event for the community, you're at 25 people. Now, right now, we're at a different level, so we fall back to 10. So it's based on a social gathering, you have a limit of either 10 or 25. Now, if you're a food service establishment, you have limitations of 50% of your volume. Same for bars, it's 50%. So indoor, outdoor has limitations. Certain things can continue under the governor's ordinances that we provide guidance on or enforce for, whether that's a show, an event, and so on. We also are trying to work with venues to make sure they can pull off successful programs, whether that is competitions at the Civic Center or it's other events that can be done successfully. It's just a lot of planning, but there are some guidance, and right now we are at a level where indoor activities and social gatherings is limited now down to 10.
Are you still having some problems? I know you've had an occasional problem. Still having problems with bars or restaurants not following guidelines?
You do, across the state of West Virginia, and I think it was made known by Governor Justice that you now have additional enforcement that is going to be not just by local health, but by state inspectors with ABCA or state police that will say, listen, if you're not following these are state directives, then we will take immediate action. Now,
sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
You're going to be adding some additional testing this week, is that correct?
Right. So as a result of going to a higher level of color increase in both infection rate and positivity, what we're going to be doing, as asked by the governor, was to set up at least one new testing, free testing site a day. However, that changed dramatically when the state then said, we want you to do 3 a day at separate locations. So we're doing 3 testing sites every day from today up till Saturday. It's a little tough because it stretches our workforce. Those 3 added to the testing at Med Expresses, Doctors Urgent Care, Wheeling Hospital, Wheeling Health Right, as well as the testing that is occurring at West Liberty University, Wheeling University, and Northern Community College. There is an abundance of opportunity to go get tested, from rapid to regular PCR. It's all out there. There's no excuse that I couldn't get to it. It's there. You just got to get the ability to go to it. At some point, we may be going to the people, but again, I have to have enough staff and wherewithal to do that, including the testing kits, because these come from the state, and therefore they're all covered by the state of West Virginia.
Is the primary testing that's being done now it's being done at the old OVMC facility, but by Wheeling Hospital, is that still seeing a lot of usage?
It's probably one of the busiest testing locations in the state of West Virginia, and consistent across the state. Because of the duration it's been stood up, it still sees a tremendous amount of volume, but we also are now seeing a tremendous uptick in the demand for rapid tests, and those are being done at the Med Expresses. You can also go to another state and get it done. Be warned one thing. If you get a positive in another state, I won't necessarily get your lab instant. It may take upwards to 2 weeks for that lab to go through the state system of another state into ours to me. So it may take a while.
And by that time, quarantine periods may have passed and everything else, right?
We found that last week. We had an individual call, a resident, and he just wanted to give us a heads up, and as a result, he was already done. Received a rapid in another state, and it just took too long, and we still don't have the lab from that state.
Howard, I know you got to run, but we are flirting with red this week, right?
Yes, we are.
And that's something nobody wants to see, because that's going to really make big changes in school and football, not to mention daily lives. So, I mean, but at the rate we're going, again, nobody can predict, but at the rate we're going, we're likely to hit that, right?
Yes. It's highly likely we will be red and stay red for a while.
And so nobody wants that. Do I need to get tested?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know some family members who would like to do the testing. They're not medically trained, but they would like to do all three, and they happen to be boys. All three would like.
And they won't use the little Q-tip. I understand what you're saying, Howard. But no, in all seriousness, I've been fairly, self-quarantined really since the whole thing began. Don't do a whole lot. Don't see too many people. Don't go out into restaurants. Don't go into public more than occasionally. Don't feel any symptoms. Is it still wise for me to go ahead and get a test anyways? And I'm not using me as a specific example, but only as a generic person.
Well, generically, anybody who has a concern, go get tested. It's available. And you can get it done through the multiple locations, whether it's free with symptoms or no symptoms, or the paid services. However, if we've had interaction where we're questioning ourselves, I went out to church. I'm just not sure. I have a tickle. I think it's my seasonal stuff. Get tested. A rapid is quick. It's it's within so many minutes you can have your results, or get a regular PCR. Now, if you get a regular PCR, whether it's Wheeling Hospital, Wheeling Health Right, or down at the Med Expresses, you got to quarantine. So you got to stay away until those results come back. But I think with the abundance of testing that's available, there's no reason not to. If we're concerned, we want to question, and now with the free testing, because it can be done symptomatic, asymptomatic, go get it done.
Let me run the numbers down again before this. So 662 is where we're at right now, 660 some odd, is that correct?
662 cumulative. We reported out this morning, 24 from Sunday, and we're now beginning to see an abundance of tests come in right now.
Okay, so we might have some more numbers later today, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Howard, I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you taking time with us, and we'll talk to you again, I'm sure. Again, thanks for joining us today, though.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.
All right, Howard Gamble, Administrator of the Ohio County Health Department. We're flirting with red. Ohio County could be turning red this week, as you mentioned earlier, Biff, and nobody wants to see that. That's going to put all football off. That's going to put all school into remote. It's going to, impact everybody's daily lives.
Well, here's here's going to be the selfishness in me coming out, because this is Wheeling Central's last regular season home game, or not home game, but regular season game. They beat Williamstown last week, and they got a little bit of help. When the rankings come out tomorrow at 1 or 2 for the SSAC, Wheeling Central is more than likely still going to be the top 16 get in. They're probably going to be right around 17 or 18 just on the outside looking in. If they were to win Friday at Petersburg, they're probably going to get in the playoffs. So a cancellation of the game that week probably means their playoff hopes are done. So I'm wanting a football game Friday.
It is a very real possibility.
Right, and I hate to be selfish and everything, but I want a football game Friday night just for the fact of the importance of that game.
Well, Biff, I'm going to tell you, I hope that you're going to get what you want, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Oh, and if it doesn't, it's going to be heartbreaking. That's for sure.
Again, because we are flirting with red. You heard Howard say, really, he anticipates us turning red. And again, the numbers just going up and up and up. Over 100 last week, 40 some over the weekend, 45 I think over the weekend, 49 something like that, 49 over the weekend, 45 over the weekend. Ohio County, 49 Marshall County, I think. 24 as of Sunday, 2021 Sunday, and he's already seeing some new results coming in today. And again, the real frustrating thing to me, the frustrating thing is we just can't follow the simplest of guidelines. Wear a mask, socially distance, proper, sanitation, wash your hands, and, don't go out into large crowds unless there's a need for it.
I'll keep this clean, but if we'd have followed the governor's advice and just followed the bleeping guidelines, we'd have been okay.
That's exactly right. That's what's so frustrating about this. This is not, it's not rocket science. I mean, it is science, but it's not rocket science. It's just follow basic guidelines. Would we have eliminated COVID? No, of course not. That's not the point. We can't, no, we wouldn't. The virus is there. But if we had followed guidelines universally, whether it's in the city of Wheeling or Ohio County or state of West Virginia or across the country, if we had from the very beginning paid attention to what we were told to do and done it. And I think the problem now, as Howard was saying, is that what we've discovered is that people are, and I'm as guilty, by the way, as the next person. I'm beginning to feel like, I think we can get back to normal. Well, we can't. Again, the numbers are as high as they've been. I mean, we are hitting numbers, Howard said, since July. I think Marshall County said really since March. I mean, we are hitting numbers that we're not getting better. We're getting worse. We're not getting back to normal. We're getting worse than we had been because we're not paying attention to this stuff. And I know some of you are getting irritated with me and frustrated with me right now, and you're going to send me texts and tell me that, I'm a fear monger and I'm a panic guy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's real simple. Follow the rules. As you point out, Biff, the governor said it.
Follow the bleeping guidelines. We can say that.
The governor himself said, follow the bleeping rules. For all the criticism I do of Governor Justice, and Lord knows I do a lot of it, I think he offers up the right advice when he perpetually is reminding people to follow the guidelines, get tested, and be careful. Say the governor talked about Thanksgiving last week. He said that, the family setting, and Howard Gamble here, I thought Howard might challenge that, but he agreed. He says the family setting for like a big Thanksgiving dinner could be more dangerous than a football game with 20,000 people at it because you're going to be in closer proximity.
Right, at least to the football game, you're outside in the open air.
And there's a good bit of distance. I mean, because the stadiums aren't full anymore, so there's room for distancing and so on. Again, here in the Monroe household, we were debating over the weekend, what do we do about Thanksgiving? Just simply, is it wise to have people here? And then B, our house is just too small. I mean, when our family gets together in this house, it's a packed house. You know what I mean, Biff? I mean, it's a packed house. Shoulder to shoulder in the living room kind of thing, or shoulder to shoulder around the dinner table. And that's not what you want this year. So,
you know what you could do? Have have Thanksgiving in shifts.
Well, we've done that before, so that's a possibility too.
Do rock, paper, scissors, or see who gets the short straw or whatever, and have one come at 3, okay, have another or 5 or whatever, and space it out enough and do it that way.
Yeah, that is a distinct possibility. My wife suggested yesterday, well, maybe we could do a Zoom. No, we're not doing a Zoom dinner. You've heard me. No, we're not doing Zoom dinners. That's not it. However, I did begin thinking over the weekend, one of the things that we do at Christmas time, everybody comes to our house on Christmas Eve for a Christmas Eve gathering and gift exchange, and just after church we get together for an hour or so after church. I was thinking we might be able to do that by Zoom. I could put the Zoom on the big screen TV in the living room, and if everybody could Zoom in, maybe we could take the gift bags to everybody's house and let everybody open their gifts at their own home, their little Christmas Eve gift for that gift exchange. I might do that on Zoom, possible. By the way, if my kids are listening, they're going, what? What's she saying? Nobody told me about any Zoom. Don't I get my gifts? For the Christmas Eve, but that's not dinner. I just, I've said it before, but this idea of sitting sitting down and eating dinner while somebody else is on the computer screen, that's just asinine in my mind.
No.
Now, those of you that do it, please don't. I'm not criticizing you. That's fine, but that just does not work for me. All right. Biffy, why don't we just skip over the news and do Tony Caridi's Mountaineer Report? Can we do that? Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
All right, let's get Tony's Mountaineer Report in here, take care of some commercial business and maybe some quick odds and ends before we bring Victoria Jones in the next hour of our show.
Putting a wrap on West Virginia's Saturday victory.
That's a good thing. I was going to try and get Mark Curtis on in this segment, and a good thing I didn't. Because there is no segment. Yeah, that's right. But he was good today, so that it worked out all right. Yeah, he was very good today. If we have a little bit of time coming back, and I know it'll be a little bit, I wasn't going to do that, but let's do the two Sean Connery cuts if we have some time. That might be just enough to get me to the top of the hour. Victoria next hour. No huddle again.
It's the fourth time he's done that in his WVU career, and Deggy has now thrown at least one TD in 26 consecutive appearances. That's the longest active streak in the FBS. And that is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield, IMG College.
Hello, I'm Bob Beach, candidate for West Virginia Commissioner of Agriculture. Folks, are you aware within the last 4 years, West Virginia has lost 722 small farms? 50% of our dairy farms and hemp crops are being burned in the field. Our food supply is at risk. A healthy ag community benefits us all. Once elected, my lifetime of agricultural experience will allow us to reverse the damaging effects of the past 4 years. I'm fighting for agriculture. Allow me to continue my public service as your next Commissioner of Agriculture, and let's grow West Virginia together.
Paid for by Beach for West Virginia.
I'm Josh from Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. I hope you are staying healthy. We continue to respond to structural, fire, and water emergencies. We are combating COVID-19 with our highly trained staff and latest disinfection systems, providing preventative and reactive disinfection to facilities around the region, while working with area hospitals on isolation areas and air filtering. At Panhandle, we continue to follow social distancing and hygiene protocols. We are dedicated to our community, and together we will get through this.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gellner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Hi, this is Chris Lawrence from the Metro News News Team. I have all the important regional news throughout the morning right here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Listen and stay informed right here.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
4 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show, hanging in with an even freezing 32 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. Wind chill makes it feel like 22 degrees. So there's wind blowing around out there, dropping the temperature, feels like temperature down to 22 degrees. Sean Connery died over the weekend. I certainly feel, and I think most people would concur, he was the quintessential James Bond, the first James Bond in the movies, of course. And just to me, he defined Bond, James Bond. He was 90 years old. His wife and son say he suffered from dementia in his later years. Of course, he was in a whole lot of different movies, but he'll always be remembered as Bond, James Bond.
Bond. James Bond.
That gun. You know much about guns, Mr. Bond?
No, I know a little about women.
In the conference room. Something pretty big. Every 00 man in Europe's been rushed in.
His wife's probably lost a dog. Dink, meet Felix Leiter.
Hello.
Felix, say hello to Dink.
Hi, Dink.
Dink, say goodbye to Felix. Man talk.
You must have followed us.
I think he got the point.
Classic lines from the James Bond movies starring Sean Connery. Connery, interestingly enough, and he himself talked about this once upon a time, Connery himself was not the first or even second choice to play Bond in the original movies.
Bond. James Bond.
Nobody could believe when I did it in 1962, I think the first one was, Dr. No, that it could ever possibly be shot today. And they'll probably go on.
Originally, Cary Grant was asked to do it, and he said, yes, I'll do one, but I won't do two. I won't do a series. So then they got a hold of James Mason, and James said he'd do two, but he wouldn't do three. So they decided they'd have to go with an unknown, and there were 5 people who were tested, and Sean's was far away the best test.
He took me on the trip to get our clothes and everything, and it was an eye-opener. The budget on the clothes was astronomical in relation to the film, but he was right, Terence, because there was a look about it. We had shoes handmade at Lobs, and no cufflinks, special fold-back button, and I used the Windsor knot.
Just classic guy, classic character, Bond, James Bond. And nobody did it better, in my mind, than Sean Connery. There were some others who did a great job, but nobody did it better than Sean Connery. Dead at the age of 90 over this weekend. Victoria Jones is going to join us. She and I are going to talk about the national political scene. Can the Democrats take the Senate? And does Biden win the presidency? Or does Trump pull a fast one on us? It's all coming up next hour on the Watchdog Morning Show for a Monday.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
President.
Okie dokie, I'm going to get another Dr. Pepper, Biffy, and should hear from Victoria. She did text me this morning that she was going to call in, so I think she remembers. And we'll go from there. Back in a minute.